Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to more racing action in F1 Total. We are back in Division 1 for more racing, and this is a special round of the season. We are at round number 12 of Season 18 in Division 1, and it's the second sprint race of the calendar. As you may remember, the sprint race in this season works this way. We have two races. First, we start with a 25% race, so half the length of our normal races. In the case of Texas, it is 14 laps. Well, as you can see, I didn't mention before, we are in Austin, Texas at the Circuit of the Americas for the US Grand Prix. One of the three US Grand Prix. Yeah, we first have the sprint. There is still a mandatory pit stop, but the grid will be set with the reverse championship order for the most part. There are a few exceptions to this, but the main point is that our usual championship contenders, Felix, Kart Racer, they will start at the back of the grid, and the bottom of the grid will start on pole position. As you can see, this is the grid. Aussie Dry on pole position, Jonathan on the front row, and then Bazooka Joe, Sean, Morgan, Killer Swag, Sally, Phantom Fox, Jeremy, Numicorn, PC Willy, Nordic Ninja, Felix, Kart Racer, CM Perkins, Fireball, Nico, and Cheeseburger. 14 laps of racing. Most of the drivers will start on the soft tire, and the result of this sprint race will be the starting grid for the main race later on. Many drivers being very aggressive on a strategy. It's an easy, soft medium, and there's going to be loads of action, loads of overtakes around the entire field. I am sure we are in for a good one. That was also the case for Division 2. So yeah, let's bring it. Let's let our drivers bring on the action here in COTA for the sprint race. The 5 red lights are on, and it's lights out, and away we go for the USA sprint race. And Aussie Dry gets a perfect start, and Jonathan is immediately under attack by Bazooka Joe. There's a lot of movements all across the entire field, and many cars swapping places at turn 1. This extremely wide turn 1. There's lots of cars making overtakes here and there, and there's a CM Perkins has spun round immediately on the exit of turn 1, and there is a lot of debris flying from multiple cars. There's definitely some of them with wing damage. There's a Williams going off track, that is Sean. There's another truck going even more off track, and there was Nordic Ninja, I believe. Oh, and there's a spin for Felix. Felix has been spun around as well, and this car looks to have no damage, but it's down the field in P17. Lots of overtakes are happening. Nico Rosenberg has lost an end plate, and so has PC Willy. And it's already chaos immediately on the first lap of the sprint race here in Texas. Aussie Dry is loving this as he goes pretty much on his own way. And Jonathan is already being attacked by multiple cars. He started in second place, now he's down to fifth. And Killer's Wagon Kart Racer giving it absolutely everything. Kart Racer trying to hold the inside line, making a move in turn 12. He needs to make places as soon as possible. Now he's down in P9, just ahead of the Ferrari or Fireball. There is lots of action all across the entire grid. And Jonathan with a switchback on Numicorn. Does he pull it off? No. He loses yet another place. There's a car ghosting. Not sure what that was, and there's PC Willy and Nico Rosenberg fighting, both of them with wing damage. Switchback across the fire. Oh, Felix goes deep! Felix goes completely off at the penultimate corner. And oh, look at this, Nico and PC Willy fighting at the pit lane, and Nico overtakes PC Willy in the pit lane. We are already seeing so much action. Phantom Fox and Jonathan now. Jonathan is dropping places like a stone. Fireball with a big oversteer, exiting turn 1, and now Sully and Nordic Ninja fighting for P13 through the SS, who is going to be ahead, and the McLaren of Antonio stays ahead. I need some breathing room. Nico Rosenberg and PC Willy now in the pit lane on the hard tire. Killaswell gets immediately a 3-second time penalty. Let's look at the position changes, or actually, there's a yellow flag for, I'm not sure. Let's look at the position changes. Kart Racer is making a lot of moves, so has Fireball, and so is Cheeseburger. Felix started in P13, now he's down to P15. Morgan and Bazooka Joe fighting for a position as well. And Morgan stays ahead. Now Bazooka Joe is going to be under attack from Jeremy, and Bazooka almost gets spun around. He makes contact with Jeremy, but keeps the car on track. Morgan has an amazing start, even though he started on the mediums. That's the slower tire. And yet he's having an amazing start in P2. Now he can go after Rossi, and he will also have DRS train. Or he's gonna have DRS, it's not gonna be a train. Well, it is gonna be a train actually. I'm not sure what I'm saying anymore. There is so much action across the entire field. And there's another McLaren in pit lane, that's Nordic Ninja. Also with damage, with a missing end plate. That's what happens with the reverse grid. There's so much chaos in turn 1 and into the S's. There's always so much damage on the first laps. Jonathan gets a penalty and he just keeps dropping places like a stone. He's now down in P10, while Aussie Dry is doing a perfect job of maintaining pole position. But Morgan is right on his tail. Bazooka Joe has lost quite a lot of time in the S's. And Sean is very, very close to Jonathan. Felix has made his way up into P13, but now he's out of DRS from Cheeseburger, and that could very much compromise his entire race from lap 3 to lap 14. Losing DRS on one single lap could have big, big consequences for the rest of the race. And Sean moves ahead, and now Cheeseburger sending it down the insider into turn 12, and Sean is not able to pull off a switchback, so that's another move up for Cheeseburger, up in P10. Now Bazooka Joy Numiko with a switchback down the inside, exiting the very slow section in sector 2. Numiko stays ahead and makes contact with Bazooka Joe. Catracer trying to look for a gap just behind Phantom Fox, who is on the medium as well. He looks down the inside of the last corner, and Catracer is immediately into the pit lane after only 3 laps. He decides to go off the soft compound. The softs are very quick and very aggressive on the first laps, but they were out quite quickly. So it's not a surprise that we see Catracer in immediately on lap 3. And this could also mean an undercut on the rest of the drivers. Numicorn still defends P4 from Bazooka Joy and Phantom Fox. They are all on his tail. The dirty air is going to be massive through the S's. Let's see who survives this section as of now. And it's extremely important to have a good exit of the S section, exiting turn 9, and especially a good entry and exit into turn 11, because that's gonna be the longest DRS straight of the calendar. Let's see if Morgan is able to get a good exit and is able to attack Aussie Dry down the back straight. Aussie Dry, he's the driver furthest ahead in the field. Oh, Killaswag with a big oversteer out of turn 11, but he keeps it on track. I was saying Aussie Dry is the driver who is further ahead on the soft compound, but now he goes down in P2, and I do think we will see Aussie Dry, Jeremy, everyone else on the softs in this lap, or at most on the next lap. Now Phantom Fox going up the inside of Bazooka Joe. It definitely looks like those softs are losing pace quite quickly, and Phantom is up another place. Bazooka sends it again down inside and he maintains position, or actually they go wheel to wheel, but Phantom Fox has a better exit. Now that's P5 for the British driver, and he still has DRS from Numicorn, and if Numicorn goes into the pits right now, it's extremely good news for Phantom Fox. And it is indeed very good news for the Haas driver, who goes up into P2. All of these soft runners ahead of him go into the pit lane. That's Phantom Fox up into P2, seconds away from Morgan, but now he's gonna have to defend against the 2 Ferraris of Fireball and Bazooka Joe, or actually against Fireball and Killaswag, who's trying to make his way around Bazooka Joe on the outside of turn 1, but it doesn't quite work out, so he's gonna have to wait some more time. In the meanwhile, more drivers into the pit lane, going from the soft to the mediums. We still have 6 drivers on the red compound. Felix is losing quite a lot of time actually. Felix is getting undercut by many drivers. He needs to have a good in lap right now before he goes into the pit lane. He doesn't have DRS from Cheeseburger, but it's gonna be very tough. Definitely not the sprint race Felix wanted here. But it's not over yet. Lap 5 out of 14. Some more action can definitely still happen. We just saw how chaotic the start was, so I won't be surprised if we see more surprises later on. Nico Rasenberg gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits. That's not what he needed, and that's his chance of... Well, I mean, his race was pretty much over on lap 1, but now his recovery is a lot more compromised. Car Chaser is up into P9. Let's remember, only the top 8 score points in the sprint. So right now, Car Chaser is not scoring points, but it will be soon because he will be in the top 8 very soon as the soft runners ahead pit. Cheeseburger going down inside of Killaswag into the penultimate corner. That's the Scottish driver in P5 and now into the pit lane. There's yellow flags for a Sauber. That is Sully, who looks to have spun on the exit of turn 12. Bazooka Joe is forced to stay out to not double stack. Fireball goes on the hards, and that's definitely a Ferrari strategy. Going on hards on lap 6. Oh, and McLaren too. Killaswag, no, not on the hards. You go on the hards if you pit on lap 1. If you pit later, you just go on the mediums. Why the hard compound? That's gonna be so slow. So now Felix rejoins the race in P12 on the new medium compound. He's gonna have to overtake Killaswag as soon as possible. He has the slower tires, so he cannot afford to be slowed down. But he's gonna lose loads of time through the assets. He's definitely not happy with that one. And he's not gonna have DRS after he gets past Killaswag. So the race looks to be a lot calmer right now. The field is more spread out than it was before. And now Felix with the DRS finally gets past and also uses the better traction on those tires. That's Felix up in P11 and 2 seconds away from Cheeseburger. And that's what some people will call slightly suboptimal. Moves between, CM Perkins, I think that's Charlotte. That's Charlotte on Discord, so yeah. In P16 ahead of Jonathan. And Jonathan, oh, he has damage as well. So that's just rubbing salt into the wound for Jonathan, starting on the front row. Now in P17 with a penalty and damage. Bazooka in the pit lane, so that's everyone with their mandatory pit stop done. And for Phantom Fox and Morgan, now they just need to survive this medium sim because they're gonna have to push flat out on the softs later on. But since they will pit, this now means the Car Chaser is the effective leader of the sprint race here in COTA, and that's the worst case possible for Felix because that's his championship rival getting a sprint win, and Felix is barely scoring points. Right now in P10 he's not scoring any. If he savages a P8, it's gonna be 1 point against the 12 for the sprint race winner. So absolutely the complete opposite of what he needed. Unless Jeremy can try and fight him. He has DRS. Maybe we could have a fight for the win between these two. And now the two Scottish driver going at it as Cheeseburger goes up into P7. Fireball locks up, trying to look down the inside of turn 12. Keeps the car pointing straight, luckily. And that's allowed Felix to close in. Felix is definitely using this fight ahead to his advantage because he's closing in and he will have DRS soon. Especially since Fireball is on the hards, he's also gaining loads of time. So that's Felix back in DRS and with a chance of scoring more points here. But Cheeseburger has a lot of distance ahead of him. That's 4 seconds between himself and Numicorn. So he's definitely going to be more concerned about defending the position rather than attacking. But the two who will be attacking the most will be Morgan and Phantom Fox on the later stint on the softs. And theoretically, they're going to be the fastest because the car will be so light with so little fuel. It's like racing with 2 cars on qualifying mode. So let's definitely watch out for them. If Morgan and Phantom were to pit soon, they will be probably in the fight with Cheeseburger, Sean, Fireball and Felix. Probably in there. So yeah, they could have a chance of scoring very good points, but they will be locked in a very hefty battle, I reckon. And now Jeremy going for the move, down inside of turn 12, into the braking zone. The Sauber driver is ahead and putting pressure on Car Chaser. And that's now a podium for the German driver in the Sauber. Let's see if he does keep that place. Numicon also trying to attack Aussie Dry. He's closing in slowly. Now they're 5/10 apart. And there's lots of battling across the entire midfield. Phantom Fox is in the pits. So he's gonna drive 5 laps on the softs. And that's definitely a longer stint on the softs than what the other drivers did. Catchers did only 3 laps. But Phantom Fox chooses to be aggressive. Let's see, where does he join? It could potentially be just behind his teammate. Let's see. Going up into the hill in turn 1. Yes, Phantom Fox is just behind his teammate, but on the faster tires. And now, this is not a very comfortable situation for Haas. What do they do? Do they prioritize Felix in this fight because he's fighting for a championship, or do they prioritize Phantom, who is on a significantly faster tire and cannot afford to be stuck in traffic? I mean, unless they both agree to just race, that's not really the easiest situations for Haas. Felix all over the back of Fireball on the exit of 2011. But this DRS trade is going to make things a lot more difficult. Numicon goes past Aussie Dry 4P4. Let's look at this battle as Fireball slightly moves on a braking and sends it down the inside of Sean. They make contact. Sean is pushed off the track. Felix tries to hold it around the outside. Actually, Fireball and Sean still go side by side. There is some contact and Felix goes through on the inside and now on the outside line inside to 2, but Shamul still stays ahead. Now they go wheel to wheel. Will Felix overtake them all? Yes, he will. What a move for the Haas driver, and Phantom Fox as well is in P8. The 2 Haas drivers absolutely cooking inside to 2. There's a yellow flag for Sean. Sean has spun at the triple apex on the right-hander and he has retired on the track. The Scottish driver decides to retire from the sprint race, and he's gonna start at the back of the grid for the main race as well. And now Phantom Fox overtakes his teammate. Felix lets him go. And he still has a chance to attack Cheeseburger. 1.4 seconds is the gap now, and he's gonna gain loads of time through the S section, I reckon. But obviously Felix still hopes he can hold on to the DRS. Now Sully with a 3-second time penalty. Track limits are so easy to get around this track. Fireball as well. I think there's a lot of penalties already across the entire field. 6 seconds for Fireball, everyone else on 3 seconds. Aussie still has the DRS to Numicon ahead, but he might lose it soon. Catcherser looks like he's not able to get past Jeremy again, but in the meanwhile we have Morgan, who is still leading the race on the all mediums, but I think he's gonna pit very soon. I think he's gonna pit this lap, and let's see where does he join. Very far back. He's gonna be in P9 between Fireball and Nico, and he still stays out. That's not really, that's a risky strategy for Morgan. Only 3 laps on the softs. I think he should have followed Phantom, or at least go a lap later than Phantom. That could have been a warning for track limits for Phantom at the penultimate corner. He still doesn't have the DRS from Cheeseburger, but he's gaining. He's gaining and is towing his teammate. Yellow flags for a sub, but it's Sully who also retires on track. So that's Sully and Sean starting the main race on the 9th row in P17 and P18. And Phantom Fox actually doesn't look like he's gaining time through the S's. I thought he would gain a lot more. The gap was staying still at 1.3 seconds. He can definitely see Cheeseburger ahead of him, but it's not quite gaining. Right now he's just throwing his teammate. So right now Haas is scoring 3 points. 2 for Phantom and 1 for Felix. Oh, actually, Phantom is gaining a lot on corner exit. He's gaining a lot of time on traction. Not really through the fast corners, but definitely on traction. And Morgan is still staying out. What strategy is Morgan doing? There's gonna be 2 laps on the softs. He just lost so much time. Now he's gonna be he's gonna be out of the points. He's gonna be in P12. What is Morgan doing? He's losing so much time on those old mediums. Now Phantom Fox looks finally to be in Cheeseburger's DRS. That's gonna be very good news for him, but it's not gonna be bad news if Cheeseburger actually has the DRS from his teammate Aussie Dry just ahead, and he's barely into the 1 second gap. They are fighting to have DRS. Let's see if they do. Jonathan retires from the race, and I mean that's a shame. He was starting in P2 and now he was at the back of the grid and into the pit lane. Very much a shame for Jonathan. Cheeseburger does not have DRS. Never mind, he does. Phantom does not. And Felix gets past. Boy, Fireball sends it on the inside of the Phantom into turn 11. Actually, turn 12, the main contact. Phantom gets a penalty. Phantom gets a penalty, 3 seconds for track limits, but I think it might get removed. He's gonna contest to the stewards that he's been pushed off track from Fireball. He's trying to get that penalty removed. He didn't slow down to avoid the 10-second penalty, so he's definitely getting that removed. Morgan is on the most brain-dead strategy I have ever seen. He's gonna drive only the last lap on the softs and just put himself out of the points. Like Morgan, he's gonna be back in the race in P12, driving only 1 lap on the softs. Worst strategy I have ever seen in 2026 so far. Aussie now with a penalty. That's gonna play in favor of Cheeseburger and Felix. And Aussie Dry derating down the back straight as Cheeseburger easily gets past. So now it's Felix versus Aussie, but Felix is already in P6 with that penalty. And what is Morgan is getting disqualified. What? What a strategy! What a strategy! I'm speechless. I'm not believing what I just saw. Did anyone tell Morgan about the mandatory pit stop? Did he know? Anyway, Jeremy is now the leader of the US sprint, and he has pulled out of DRS from Car Tracer. So that's gonna look like those 12 points are going in favor of Jeremy. Now Felix gets past Aussie Dry on track. We still have DRS to try and defend. Yes. And Cheeseburger and Numicon fighting for the podium places as Cheeseburger goes down inside of Numicon. They leave space for each other. Oh, and Numicon with a beautiful switch back now on the inside, but he made contact. Does Numicon still? Yes, he sends it down the inside, but that's another switchback from Cheeseburger. Numicon goes way too deep under the brakes, so there's nothing he can do. But Jeremy, he's gonna win the sprint race here in Texas, ahead of the championship leader, Car Tracer. And it's the Sauber driver who's gonna start the main race on pole position. Catchracer is gonna start in P2, and that's 9 points for Catchracer in the sprint. Cheeseburger with a beautiful comeback from last to P3. Numicon in P4, just a few tenths behind after fighting with Cheeseburger for position. Felix with a good recovery as well. He was spun round in lap 1 and he recovered up into P5. Aussie Dry in P6, and Phantom, I think he was P7 on track, and he's gonna have to try and get the penalty removed. But before we do that, we can see the results. The provisional results were going to be Aussie Dry in P6, Fireball in P7, PC Willy, not really with the best races. It didn't recover all that much. I mean, sure, he got damaged and went on the hards after one lap. Recovered up into P8, but that's probably not going to stay his. So that's the top 8, the provisional top 8 scoring points here in Austin, Texas for the sprint race. And it's Jeremy winning this short race, getting those 12 points to his name and starting the main race on pole position. Wow, that was, I had to say, that was very much an action-packed race. There was so much action across the entire field. Wow. That was a very good one. Very good one. So, Jeremy from P9, he wins the sprint. Catchracer from P14 to P2. Cheeseburger from last in P18 to P3. Numicon in P4. Felix in P5. Aussie Dry from pole position to P6. Fireball in P7. PC Will in P8. Killasberg in P9. Nico Rastenberg in P10. Nordic Ninja P11, Bazzica Joe P12, Phantom Fox in P13, unless he gets the penalty removed. Charlotte in P14 with the fastest lap, and then from Jonathan downwards, Sully, Sean and Morgan with DNFs, and a disqualification for Morgan. Well, what a strategy! What does Morgan cook? I mean, I don't want to be offensive, but it always feels like every race Morgan attends. Every single race, he just has to do something that's completely out of the ordinary to try and ruin this race. He either retires in the pit lane after 2 laps or just does something like this. I just genuinely cannot explain. So, anyway, we got a bit of a break now, and we're going to wait for the grid to be set with the results of the sprint race. I mean, Phantom Fox, sure, he could still get the penalty removed and get the points, but that's not gonna change the fact that he's gonna have to start the main race in P13. That's the downside of using this format. When there's a penalty involved and position changes involved, that's only for points later on, but you're still screwed for qualifying for the main race. So now we're just waiting for the grid to be set. So, grid is now set for the main race. The same results we saw in the sprint race are going to be the starting grid for the main race. So now we are back for our normal format, 50% length. That's 28 laps around the circuit of the Americas. It looks cloudy, but the weather is all dry, and it's an extremely easy one-stop, medium hard, hard medium. We have C1 for the hards and C3 for the mediums, and the hards are very low wear. You just have to slightly slow down in the S's to avoid front overheating, but other than that, you can really push them for a lot of laps and getting low wear. So there's really not any management required to make it a one-stop. So it's going to be very straightforward. And with the track being so wide and so open, safety cars' chances are very low. So it's gonna be, theoretically, should just be straight racing from start to finish. We just see who chooses the quote-unquote safe strategy from medium to hard, or the alternate strategy from hard to medium. I always feel like starting on the harder compound and finishing on the softer compound is kind of a double-edged sword, if you get what I mean. It could work out very nicely under near perfect conditions, but if there's any external factor changing some things for you, it could also very much ruin your race. I don't know. That's why I call the safe strategy the one where you start on the softer compound and you end on a harder compound. Just waffling at this point, but it also depends on the track. So let's see what the drivers choose. It's all mediums except a set of hards for Charlotte and a set of softs for Sean. And for some reason, there's the AI of Albon. Who invited Albon, bro? So apparently there's been a mistake in the grid, and Albon got added. The AI is at 75, so should not be an issue. The 5 red lights are on, and it's lights out, and away we go for the main race here in Austin, Texas. Jeremy gets a good start, covers the inside, but goes back to the normal racing line. Catchings and has a look, but he stays in P2. And he's immediately under attack from Cheeseburger and Numicorn, and there's a Haas going around. That's Felix again! Felix again with a horrible start after turn 1, and there's a virtual safety car. There's Killaswag who has spun around after turn 1. Morgan got a penalty for a collision with Felix, and we immediately have a virtual safety car after barely 2 corners. Felix down in P17. Again with a horrible start to the race. Not sure what happened. So Felix and Killaswag losing loads of places. 12 for Felix and 10 for Killaswag. They are at the back of the grid. So now everything is being slowing down. Jarvis just needs to... Oh, and Killaswag got a penalty for driving over the delta speed. Did Morgan too? No, he got 10 seconds. I forgot. Drive-through penalty for speeding on the virtual safety car. Oh, and there's loads of battering in midfield. Look at that. Phantom is ahead of Bazooka Joe. And oh, there's a VK. Oh, what? What? Did Charlotte just turn into the wall? There's a safety car. Charlotte he just steered into the, I swear he just steered right into the wall. Yes. He crashed on purpose. Or has he? No, wait. I see him having an oversteer moment out of the final corner. Yeah, he definitely was sliding. But when I got on board, his steering wheel was just completely to the right and going into the wall. Oh, and Killer's Wagon and pit lane retired, so that's 2 DNFs now. And we now have a full core safety car. We didn't even get one single lap of racing. And we already had a virtual safety car and a full core safety car. We have more laps under yellow flags than racing laps. Peak. So, nothing's gonna change for the strategy. It's way too early. I mean, the hards, they last a long time, but it's way too early to pit now. They're not gonna last 28 laps. Or well, 26 now. So nothing should be changing. Maybe Sean could consider going to the mediums. I don't see the softs working in a normal strategy. Aussie's in? What? Does he have damage? So is Sully, so is Felix. Oh, do they all have damage? Aussie doesn't, he's going on the hards. Did Felix get damage? I didn't see Felix getting damage. He's going on the hards. So they're going for a 2-stop. Okay, I think I see Felix is thinking. He's just pretty much switched from a medium hard to hard medium. Didn't lose that many places. Now he just has an alternate strategy to the rest of the grid, but he has more laps to push the hards because it's the better racing tire. Since it has so much low wear even when you push it. And now he also has fewer laps on the mediums, which is actually a good thing because he can afford to push more on the mediums without them wearing out too much. So maybe that's the thinking for Aussie, Sully, Felix and Jonathan. Because I'm 100% sure. Well, maybe not 100% sure. I think if they go for a 1-stop from lap 3 to 28, so 25 laps on the mediums, they think it could be like borderline puncher range. But I don't think it's 100% impossible. But I doubt they're going to the end. Wouldn't even make sense because they just otherwise cannot afford to push. They just cannot afford to drive fast. Sean stays on the softs. I'm curious about Sean's strategy. But not they just have the AI of Albon in the way. If Albon brake checks anyone, it's over. Because 75 AI is gonna brake so early for turn 1. And if you're behind in turn one, you just screwed through the SS. You lose 5 seconds through the SS just following the AI of Albon at 75% speed. Safety car in this lap. Race is going to resume on lap 5. It's going to be Jeremy leading the restart. Championship leader Kat Chaser just behind him. Safety car entering the pit lane now. And Jeremy has restarted the race very early before the penultimate corner. Kat Chaser has an okay reaction. And Austin spun at the last corner. So no position changes apart from Felix overtaking Sally down the inside of someone, and now Felix, he's gonna lose so much time behind the AI. Albon is 1.7 seconds behind Sean. Wow, just look at this. Wow! Yellow flags for Sully as well. And he has damage. Maybe he was spun by Albon? On is Williams, the Sean and Bazooka Joe side by side through turn 11. Sean gets ahead. Now Nico, Rasenberg and Numicon fighting for positions. As Nico tries to defend the PA, Numicon tries to attack back, but stays where he is. And Fireball very close, just behind. And Sean battling with Bazooka Joe once again on the exit of turn 12 now. Yellow flags for a Sauber, that's Sully. Sully, who is into the wall. He has crashed, but his car is still intact. He's missing a front wing, but how did he crash there? Sully? Wanna do some explaining, Sully? Surely you cannot reach the wall by mistake. Cheeseburger defending the inside of turn 12 from Nico Rasenberg, who slightly makes contact. Does he have a better exit coming out of turn 12? Nico going around the outside in the second sector. Cheeseburger pushes him off the track, forces him wide. Does Nico attack back on the inside? Yes, he does. He sends it under the brakes. But Cheeseburger with a beautiful switchback. They go wheel to wheel on the exit for the triple right-hander. They still go wheel to wheel, trying to push each other off the track. Who's gonna be ahead? Cheeseburger has the inside line. He looks to be ahead. They bang wheels even more, but Cheeseburger stays ahead. but he doesn't have DRS. So does Nico attack back? Cheeseburger comes to the inside for turn 1. Nico trying to go even more to the inside, but he switches to the outside line and he goes around the outside. He's still with Will. Cheeseburger almost pushing it wide, and Nico Rosberg almost oversteering into Cheeseburger, and they crash! They make contact. Nico retires on track. Cheeseburger has some wing damage, and he gets passed by Numicorn. Well, it could have been a crash into the wall for both of them. Pretty much just between these two. Numicorn is 3.4 seconds ahead. Race is still long, but at the moment it looks like these two are locked in a fight. Cheeseburger and Fireball now fighting for position. Cheeseburger is gonna struggle with the wing damage because now he's missing some crucial downforce through the second sector, and he gets passed by the Ferrari of Fireball. And now Nordic Ninja also looks for a gap. I don't think he wants to be stuck behind that Mercedes. Cheeseburger is still gonna have DRS, so he can at least try and defend this P5 for now. But now he's gonna be missing crucial downforce in sector 1. It's gonna be very painful for that car to turn. PCWD is even closer to Antonio actually. Phantom gets a penalty. 3 seconds for track limits for the British driver. And now Antonio finally gets past Cheeseburger, but he goes so deep in the brakes. That was one of the easiest switchbacks for Cheeseburger, but actually now he's missing the downforce to try and hold the car around the outside through sector 2. Let's see, does he have another attack into turn 15? No, he doesn't. It was very easy to start the switchback, but it was very difficult to end it because Nordic Ninja was still able to get past, even after going so deep in the braking. Sean is within the 1 second range, but he doesn't have DRS. I'm surprised Sean is holding on this long on the softs. They're gonna have insane wear. Like, they might be close to 60%. Car tracer disconnected! The championship leader disconnects from the race in P2. And that is absolutely terrible news for him. His AI is gonna drop him down the order so far down, but that's excellent news for Felix. But if he doesn't join quickly, he's gonna be in big, big trouble. And Phantom Fox going for a move. Oh, what are these camera angles? What are these onboards? I didn't ask for these onboards. I couldn't see Phantom going past. Anyway, that's the Haas driver up in P7. Nordic Ninja and Fireball now fighting. Antonio stays ahead, and Numicorn is immediately into the DRS of a car tracer. Yeah, just look at how slow the AI is. It's gonna be past even before the next lap starts. And there's yellow flag for Fireball. He has spun in the triple right-hander, and he goes into the pits. He's already off those mediums. So is Cheeseburger, and so is Sean, but going off the softs. Cultures are dropping down to P4 now. And for Felix, that's excellent news. He's in P7, just a handful of seconds away from his championship leader who is disconnected. I did invite him. I'll try again. This is absolutely huge for the championship. This could be a huge recovery chance for Felix. If Cartracer doesn't join soon, Felix has a big chance of scoring a good amount of points on his main rival. And for some reason, he's not able to join. So, before the sprint race, Cartracer was leading the standings. Well, he still is leading the standings. There we go. Now he has joined. I forgot to say this at the start of the stream. Cartracer is the championship leader. Well, before the sprint race, he was leading on 56 points. Now, after the sprint race, that gap is going to be a little bit more than 56. Now he has joined, and now Killersberg is disconnected. But anyway, now Felix finally has a chance to do something against that 60 plus points gap. There you go. Now Cartracer has rejoined, and he is 4 seconds, almost 5 seconds behind his main contender. Jeremy pits. The race leader is pitting from the mediums to the hards on lap 12. And Firebot, bro, there's so many disconnects. I don't have him had it, but... Oh, Fireball just retired? What? What is happening? So anyway, now that's Phantom and Cartracer to the hearts. And Felix still has, I think, quite a few laps on those hearts to push. He has a lot of laps. He's gonna go to the mediums quite late. Wow, Sean and Cheeseburger on the back straight. Sean stays ahead. Antonio and Numi caught in the pits. So is PC Willy. And so is Bazooka. All the medium runners go into the hearts now. So now it's Felix and Morgan with the alternate strategy. and Aussie as well, and Jonathan going from the hard after the safety car to the medium. But Morgan has a 10-second penalty still. Oh no, he served it. So that's 3 seconds only for Morgan. So it looks like Felix will be between the drivers on the hard medium strategy. After the safety car, looks like Felix will be the main contender for the race win. Between these drivers. Then there's the other drivers who went for the medium hard. But between these two, we should watch out for Felix once he goes to the mediums towards the end. Numiko and Aussie fighting. Well, but Aussie is he's on the old tires, so that's just Numiko getting past. Lap 14 out of 28. We are halfway through the race. Right now, the only thing we just need to watch out for are. Well, the only thing actually is just how long will the hard runners go before they go to the mediums. We just need to wait and see what lap do they choose to pit. Felix right now would be quite a few seconds behind Kart Racer, like three or 4 seconds behind Kart Racer. If he pitted now, he obviously cannot pit now. Is that Albon causing a yellow flag? It is. The AI spinning, that's just embarrassing. Right now Felix will be well, he's losing a lot of time to Kart Racer. Now he's like 4 seconds behind. And he's gonna be even more seconds behind, but he's gonna push to the limit with those mediums to try and catch up. But there's gonna be a lot of other drivers as well, not only Kart Racer. And Kart Racer just being so far back after the disconnect. So, I mean, Jeremy has the biggest chance to win this race, but I'm not quite sure where to predict Felix and Kart Racer finishing. Now Carlos has the fastest lap with the hearts, a 35.538. That's an extra point for him. Well, Catches and Phantom fighting for position at turn. Whoa, oh, Phantom Fox, what a switchback from Phantom! Catches are going so late on the brakes, and Phantom with a beautiful switchback out of turn 12. And going past Aussie Dry on opposite sides, it very much reminded me of Schumacher and Hakkinen on Zonta in Belgium, like the one famous clip on the Campbell Straight. Phantom with a beautiful switchback against the championship leader. Lap 17 out of 28, the hard runners are still going. And now Catchers are going down the inside into zone 1. Phantom is not able to keep up, but he's gonna have to keep up here in the SS. He's still in DRS, but he did lose a few tenths. Now Jeremy has caught up to Felix and Morgan, who are still on the alternate strategy. Jeremy is significantly faster on those tires. So now this means that when Felix and Morgan pit, they're gonna be about 20 seconds behind Jeremy. Whoa, Jeremy down inside on both of them at once! Felix holds it around the outside. Jeremy is so late on the brakes, goes for a double overtake in turn 1, and Morgan still tries to hold it around the outside. Look at that, they're still fighting through the S's. What is happening between Morgan and Jeremy? They are on extremely different tires. Jeremy is significantly faster. Morgan tries to hold down for quite a few corners, and that was so rare. That was so unexpected from Jeremy, going down inside of both cars at once and pulling it off. And they did not make a single incident through the SS. I didn't expect that to be so clean. I'm being 100% honest. I did not expect that to go cleanly. Like both the moving season 1 and both the fighting in the SS. Insane stuff. That was one of the latest breaks one of the latest breakings I have ever seen. Cartracer has gained a lot of time on Felix. Like a lot of time. Felix is gonna join in P9. No wait, in P10. Morgan is gonna be in P9 and Felix in P10. No, wait. No, Morgan in P8 and Felix in P9. And it doesn't look like there's that many DRS fights. So when do they choose to go to the mediums? They're still staying out. Cheeseburger now fighting with Bazooka. Cheeseburger did not choose to fix the damage on the front wing, and he's not having a great race. I mean, having damage at COTA really kills your race. You just miss so much downforce through the SS and through the corners. It's just so difficult to turn, and it's very difficult to make places up after you get damage. He can still gain something on penalties from the drivers ahead, but not that much. Culture and PCW are very close to each other. PCW does not have DRS. Morgan and Felix still stay out. But I'm starting to wonder, how long is it worth it to stay out to have a bigger advantage later on in the mediums? Because, I mean, they're running out of time. They're running out of laps. Sure, you're gonna be significantly faster later, but they're still losing a lot of time now. Unless they are going to the end. And that's a very big stretch. Like they are, Felix is on 18 laps, Morgan is on 19, adding 7 more. I don't see that happening, honestly. Maybe they just changed their mind recently. Could it be? I think they are actually staying out. I mean, it's getting very late. We are in lap 22. They already lost a lot of potential lap time to gain on the mediums. I think at this point they actually might be staying out. But that's an extremely big stretch on those tires, if I'm being honest. I mean, we just saw Jeremy and Antonio catching up to them. And we saw how easy it was to get past. I mean, once they reach you, it's over. Once they reach you, you really cannot defend. And Numicorn, he can definitely gain a second per lap with the difference in tires. And it's gonna be even worse later once the tires actually get near or into the puncture range. It's just extremely painful to drive on those tires, and the grip is just non-existent. So the time loss becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Even if the tire difference between two drivers, like between Felix and Numicorn, PC within catcher, so the tire difference in terms of laps stays the same, but the lap time loss increases exponentially the more you get close to the puncture range. The closer you get to the puncture range. So right now Felix could be losing close to a second gap. He didn't lose a second, lost like 6 tenths, and he has DRS from Morgan ahead. But still, in the corners, they just have no chance. Once they get reached, it's over. PCVD gets a penalty. So I think you should just let Kart Racer by. They are actually going to the end. I did not see that coming, honestly. Because I'm sure I will not try 25 laps on those hards. I mean, the hard in a normal strategy, you can push them so much and have so low wear. Even if you're driving quite a lot of laps, in a normal strategy, you can drive a lot of laps on the hards and not have to worry about it because you can still push them and have low wear. But it's in a normal strategy where you drive like 16, 18 at most laps on the hards. But 25, that's where management actually is required. And they're losing. Well, actually, the time loss to Numicorn is it's not consistent. Oh, but now he's fighting with Kart Racer. This could lose them even more time, but if Kart Racer gets past Numicorn, I think he's gonna gain even quicker. Even more quickly. Now it's 4.5. And Kart Racer going down inside of Numicorn. They make some slight contact. Kart looks to be ahead, going around the outside into the second corner, and he is indeed ahead. And now it's 4.6 seconds between himself and Morgan, 5 seconds between himself and his main rival. Felix trying to defend the podium by driving on the hards for 25 laps. I'm actually surprised even Aussie Dry is on the same strategy. Even Jonathan, like they are on the same strategy. I honestly thought this going to the end on the hards would be a lot less chosen, to be honest. But Kart Racer is very close to gaining a second lap, and that's gonna get them. Now Numricon is fighting with PC Willy. PC Willy is on the inside. Numricon with a switchback. Gets a little bit loose on the exit. That allows PC Willy to stay ahead. Oh, and they almost made contact through the triple right-hander. So we're starting lap 25. Kart Racer is 3.2 seconds behind Morgan. And you can see him just ahead. Yeah, now we can see him in the S's. And he's racing them for position. With a 10 lap tire advantage. And he gains so much time through the S's. Now it's 2.5. And he's going to gain even more time. And there's yellow flags for a Williams. Is that Sean or Albon? Albon is slowing down. Why is Albon slowing down? Why? Albon just retired. Even the AIs retires on track for no reason. Catches in not 2 seconds. He is gaining insanely quickly. Wow, you can see the graining on the front left, even the front right, honestly. Yeah, all four tires, they don't look so good. Cut Chaser is almost in the RS of Morgan. 1.3 seconds with 3 laps to go. He's gonna 100% be in the RS range of Morgan out of the SS. Wow. Just you can just visibly see how much he is gaining. You don't even need to look at the numbers. You can just see it. He's in the RS range. He gained 5/10 on that section alone. Felix is gonna have to not only look after his tires, but also pull off a masterclass of defense against Cut Racer if he wants to score, if he wants to gain any amount of points on him. But like right now, a P3 from Felix and a P4 from Cut Racer, it's only a gain of 3 points. I don't think Cut Racer is gonna lose any time. It goes down the inside, absolutely no hesitation. And that advantage is way too much for Morgan to defend. And Felix, he just will have nothing to defend once Card catches him. He will have absolutely nothing he can do. It is such a wide track. There's really not a lot of defending you can do. You can try, but it really doesn't pay off. Now Card is gonna lose a lot of time here. And the difference in traction will be insane after turn 11, so Felix again won't be able to defend because he's gonna have a significantly worse exit and also DRS from Card. He's 3/10 back. Yeah, Cut Chaser is pushing Felix through the corner. He shows how much he is faster. He defends the inside, but I don't think that's gonna do anything. Although Felix is so late on the brakes. Cut Chaser with a switchback. Felix is defending. He's trying his hardest to defend. He forces Cut Chaser to go on the outside line, but actually Cut Chaser switches to the inside line. Felix holds it around the outside, they leave space for each other. Felix stays ahead, and Felix is defending for his life on the penultimate lap. The tires are actually lasting, and that's actually not something I expected, but Felix is actually defending and keeping the place and keeping the position. Jeremy starts the last lap, but we are locked in this fight for the podium between the two championship contenders, and Cut Chaser goes down the inside. Felix goes for a switchback. Cut Chaser goes so deep, but Felix has a terrible exit. There's nothing he can do on those tires. Cut Chaser has so much speed. Felix cannot hold it. Cut Chaser is fast, and there's nothing Felix can do right now. Although he's staying surprisingly close through the S's. Okay, never mind. Or actually, he could still have a shot. He still has DRS. But that's 4/10 back. He needs to have a perfect exit out of turn 11. Out of this corner right here. That's not a perfect exit. But he's gonna drain his entire battery. Open the DRS. Does he gain enough? Does he gain enough? Catches the defense the inside. And he's not able to perform a switchback. Catches it just blocks him on the apex. Felix doing everything he can on those tires. But I think he's gone. I don't think he has any more left in him. There's nothing he can do right now. That's how he goes. But now Jeremy wins the American Grand Prix here in Austin, Texas. And Antonio finishes in P2. And Cut Chaser, the championship leader, even after the disconnect, he pulls off a great comeback and finishes the race in P3. Felix tried it, absolutely everything, gave it absolutely everything defending on the last laps, and it was a very good defense. And also an extremely good job on actually bringing those tires in the end. Like, I did not think the Hearts would go for 26 laps. I did not think that at all. He tried his hardest with this strategy to maintain track position against COTA and defended like a lion in the end. But eventually, it wasn't enough. And he still loses to COTA by 3 points. But that's a P4 for Felix. It's a great attempt, but it's still only a P4 and losing points on his rival. Numicon in P5, PC in P6, Fantafox in P7, Sean in P8. Morgan also bringing those tires to the end. Oh no! He punctured actually! Morgan actually punctured the front right! Aussie didn't, and he finishes in P10. And Jonathan, I don't think Jonathan punctured, I think he just went for the fastest lap. But Morgan did puncture! That's what I was concerned about. So that's even a greater job from Felix to prevent that from happening, because it could have happened. But I gotta say again, that was a great attempt at defending. So yeah. Yeah, Morgan was a 95% wear as he got the puncture. Felix had 77. So Jeremy, not completely unbothered, but for the most part it was an easy race, especially after COTA's disconnect. But he does win the American Grand Prix in Austin, Texas from pole after winning the sprint and also winning the main race. He gets 37 points for himself. Antonio in P2, COTA in P3, finishes on the podium actually. And Felix in P4 after that defense. Then Numicon, PC Willie, Phantom, Sean, Morgan, and Aussie in the final points paying position. That's the top 10. And there we go. This has been the US Grand Prix, round number 12 of season 18. So we are officially done with the second half, not half, the second third of the season. We have 6 races left to go. We still have one more sprint race with this exact same format, and that's going to be the penultimate race in Abu Dhabi on round 17. But that's 5 weeks from now, so we'll just focus on next week, which is going to be Hungary. Again, we will be waiting for you on the F1 Total YouTube channel for all 3 divisions. Tuesdays for Division 3, Wednesdays for Division 2, and Saturdays for Division 1. At the same time as always at 7:30 p.m. UK time across all 3 divisions. You don't want to miss the Hungary Grand Prix. So thank you for watching. We will see you again next week.